What's wrong?
Let's see. Bacteria gathers chaos for Vam the Malevolent. It's brought to the machine realm to oppose the forces of order. And order is...
Cheryl, you're going to wear yourself out. Let's just rest up and focus on getting back home, okay?
Yes, I suppose you're right. But still, there's something that gnaws on my mind.
Yeah, that won't come back to bite you in any way. Oh, this room is so much better. Still not sure how I feel about this giant pink contraption, but like, all this like, lilac? I was gonna say blue, but like, this, I assume these are like seat things? They look more lilac. The console looks blue, the desk console, but these look lilac. In a way. Yeah, I'll rest, why not? This bed looks so royal, though. This bed looks more like a royal suite than the Great King's room. Or the royal chamber, which is where we were meeting with him. Yo, anyone want to do some chemistry? Get some solvents or whatever? I don't know how chemistry works. I have not taken chemistry since like sophomore year. I don't have any machine keys. That sucks. Get me out of here. Let's mix some acids. Or something. However chemistry goes.
Using this terminal, I have investigated your origins. You came from the human realm. Please observe. Are you familiar with wormholes?
Yo, we're gonna play Ultra Sun and Moon. I didn't like those games, but the best thing about them was the wormholes.
There's a hole in the sky over Vents. Is that a wormhole?
This machine realm is connected to the human realm by a wormhole. Lord Vam has modified Sentinel units to create new machines. He also created a wormhole in order to send them to your realm.
Let me guess. Those machines are the bacteria, and they're traveling to our world through the wormhole.
So if I'm getting this right, the wormhole connects to our world. It's like a tunnel between this world and ours.
When does Necrozma fall into this?
Vam creates the bacteria here in the machine realm, then sends it through the wormhole to contaminate our realm.
For clarity's sake, I will use your term, bacteria, in further explanation. The bacteria was created for the purposes of collecting emotion.
What purpose could that serve?
Vam is acting in opposition to order. By gathering emotions, he gathers chaos for his cause as well. Bestowing hearts upon the robots here is another form of his protest.
I might be wrong, but if that wormhole connects to our world, we might be able to use it to go home.
It certainly seems plausible. But before we jump in, might I use that device? I'd like to see what else it can tell us.
This device directly accesses the user's memories to transmit information. However, its effects on a human subject have not been verified.
I want to try it.
Oh.
So gray.
This feels strange. I can't smell anything. Is this a dream or something?
Oh no, I lost my sense of smell. Whatever shall I do? This literally looks like an area they used in Lost Sphere when what's-his-face, whatever the protagonist's name was like getting his memories back or something.
The first daughter.
Oh, we have a memory.
Tragedy rocked the queendom of Vibra. The newborn princess had been kidnapped. The kidnapper left a sinister message, which hung like a storm cloud over the palace.
We are here to darken the future of Vibra. We have taken your nameless princess, she who shall call chaos upon the queendom. We demand the immediate termination of the royal bloodline and the full transfer of power to the people.
Vibra, having barely just finished celebrating the birth of the princess, was now filled with mourning over her disappearance. Queen Synthana and her husband, Prince Garland, rallied their most trusted vassals. The company immediately began searching for the missing princess. In 2 days' time, Prince Garland managed to track down the kidnapper's hideout. But the newborn princess was nowhere to be found. The child had vanished without a trace. Queen Synthana put on a brave face before her subjects, though inside, she was racked with grief over her daughter's disappearance.
Children of Vibra, I thank you for the many tears you've shed for your dear princess. No matter what threats befall our nation, I will continue to serve you, good people of Vibra. I urge you to wipe your tears and remain positive.
The queen boldly addressed and implored her subjects, but they were shocked to see the toll tragedy had taken on her body. Queen Synthana appeared before her people 3 days after the princess's abduction. In that short time, she had become thin and frail. Her body betrayed the desperation in her heart as a mother who had lost her daughter. But strength still shined in her eyes. She refused to let her citizens succumb to despair as she had. Still, it was plain to see that the queen was pushing herself too far. The search for the heiress to the throne continued, but the abducted princess's whereabouts remained unknown.
This is my fault,
The queen said, her eyes tired and hollow. Prince Garland took his wife's frail hand into his own, but all he could say to comfort her was,
It is not your fault. It is not your fault.
Garland's voice wavered as he repeated these words again and again. Synthana watched her husband in silence.
the future I'd once envisioned is no longer possible. I no longer have the power to lead the people of Vibra.
We only need more time. Our people will grant us that.
I feel so weak.
The queen could barely manage a whisper.
I've tried reaching out for her again and again, but I fear I've done all that I can do.
Queen Synthana was a powerful mage. It stood to reason that her daughter would inherit such power. Since the abduction, Synthana had tried desperately to detect her daughter's magical energy. But she had not found a single hint of the princess, and now her own powers waned within her. In her grief, the queen's magic dwindled. It was as if Queen Synthana's heart had frozen, totally overwhelmed by the loss of her daughter.
Yo, Frozen. Good movie.
If only I'd given her a name straight away, instead of waiting for her naming ceremony. Try as I might to call for her, she's without a name to call. I can still feel her warmth in my hands. Her tiny body. So fragile. So delicate.
Tears streamed down Queen Synthana's face. Prince Garland gently wiped his wife's cheeks dry.
My queen, please, try to be at ease. I am here with you. I know it seems as though there's no end to this sadness, but I am by your side to bear it with you.
Prince Garland squeezed her hand tightly. He hoped that he could give her his warmth, his presence, in place of their daughters, and thus share with her some of his strength. Synthana finally lifted her gaze to meet her husband's. Looking into her tear-drenched eyes, Garland spoke.
You must focus on your own health. It's the best thing you can do for her now.
Prince Garland reached out to hold Synthana. Synthana surrendered to her husband's tender embrace and wrapped her arms around him. He held her even tighter. Synthana needed his support. It was as vital to her as the air she breathed. The princess's whereabouts remained unknown. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. In time, the Vibran public came to assume their princess was dead, but none dared say so out loud. The citizens remained strong and granted Queen Synthana and Prince Garland fealty and love. Eventually, the people of Vibra stopped talking about the nameless princess altogether.
Did you try setting up some floating lanterns to maybe bring her home?
Is this a story about the queen that's evidently protecting me? I don't get it.
Where am I? My senses are betraying me. No, they've abandoned me entirely.
Oh, hello. I'm Cheryl now?
The second daughter.
The second daughter. Are they gonna hit me with like Kina is the nameless princess and then like Cheryl's the second daughter or something and they're like sisters or something?
Several years had passed since the princess was abducted. At long last, the queendom of Vibra awoke to a joyous new morning. For Queen Synthana was expecting her second child. That wasn't all of Synthana's newfound fortune. Her magical power had also regenerated somewhat, perhaps due to her renewed desire to protect her new daughter. The adoring cries of Queen Synthana's faithful subjects welcomed her second child into the world. When the day of this new princess's naming finally arrived, she was given the name Cheryl. Cheryl grew up under careful protection, never far from Synthana's loving, watchful eye. Even as a toddler, Cheryl proved to be a quick thinker, and she grew into a fearless young girl. The people of Vibra, enthralled by their second princess, eventually all but forgot about her missing sister. Except for Synthana herself. When Cheryl was 3 years old, Queen Synthana felt deathly ill. Her court doctors did their best to uncover the root of the sickness that gnawed at their queen, but their trials all ended in failure. Queen Synthana withdrew from the public eye and spent her days lying in bed. Still, the young Cheryl would regularly visit the queen's bedroom, where her mother was usually well enough to teach her magic. At times, though, Synthana could do nothing but silently gaze into the distance. Cheryl sensed a great sadness in her mother's heart. She worked hard to make her mother smile again, doing her best to stay positive and clearly demonstrate the progress she made in her magical training. But Cheryl knew the truth. The queen had never given up the search for her unnamed sister. This created an unspoken tension between mother and daughter, a tension that even Prince Garland couldn't understand. Time passed, but Synthana showed no signs of recovery. The queen grew more and more gaunt by the day.
Mother's going to die.
Cheryl murmured one evening at the dinner table. Her words struck a dissonant chord with Prince Garland. He believed he knew the cause of his wife's terrible illness. Grief for the twin losses of her firstborn and her magical powers.
You're right, my darling,
said Queen Synthana, smiling sadly at her husband.
As you say, I cannot let go of our missing daughter. Her absence eats away at me even now. When she was here, I couldn't protect her. When she was gone, I couldn't save her. Is she alive? Or is she dead? I cannot even mourn her uncertainty.
Guilt and doubt had built up inside the queen, like rocks in a riverbed, slowly but surely wearing down what strength she had left. Giving birth to Cheryl and watching her grow up in safety only served to push her guilt for the loss of her firstborn over the brink. Unable at last to control the pain she'd kept harnessed for years, Queen Synthana knew she had reached a point of no return.
No, my queen, I forbid it. Ending your life would not change a thing.
Prince Garland was deeply saddened when he heard his wife's decision.
I am sorry, my darling, but I can never forgive myself for my weakness that day. Please, watch over Cheryl. She is a very strong child, but also very sensitive. She understands why I feel I must leave this world. I did so want to stay by her side. There is so much that I wanted still to teach her. I wanted to hold her hand and show her so many things. I wanted to walk with her and talk with her. I have failed both of my daughters.
Sensing something was amiss, Cheryl came running into the room. She dashed over to her mother and clung fast to her. Her attendant stepped in soon afterwards, but maintained his distance from the family.
I beg your pardon, Your Highness. I was unable to stop Princess Cheryl.
Never mind. Thank you, Sebastian.
Synthana smiled at the attendant to assuage his guilt. She then caressed Cheryl's hair gently.
Cheryl, you're such a strong girl.
Mother, don't.
Cheryl felt the weak touch of her mother's fingertips. She could tell the queen barely had any strength left.
Cheryl, there is something I need to tell you. You must find your own destiny.
Oh, there's that word again. Everyone's out looking for their destiny. They got destiny on sale at some marketplace.
Destiny?
Cheryl repeated.
I tried my hardest to find my own destiny too. But your destiny belongs to you alone. You must find it. When you do, you'll become much stronger. You will grow into a queen worthy of your subjects' love.
Synthana reached out to Cheryl and closed her eyes. She tenderly ran her fingers through her daughter's hair. Both Cheryl and Garland sat beside her, watching without saying a word. Synthana's hand slowed to a stop. A moment later, it softly fell onto Cheryl's shoulder. At last, Queen Synthana was at peace.
So sad.
I see. This is an old memory. A memory about my older sister who went missing. Oh, how her disappearance haunted you, Mother.